guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adora Salido. I am the founder of a clothing brand called Aura. It is an ethical fashion label which is also made in Africa, and we kind of use traditional Nigerian textiles and try to transform it into more contemporary designs. And so yeah, so that's the whole essence of my brand. And today I wanted to make a quick video telling you guys about how to launch your own fashion label if that's something you're kind of looking to do at the moment. So before I launched my brand, I probably mentioned this before, but I did work in fashion for a while. I worked in luxury fashion, in wholesale, and I've also been to fashion school, and I have an MSc in business management. So I feel like I kind of learned a lot about, you know, running a business, starting a business, learning about the fashion industry, learning about, you know, working within the fashion industry and stuff like that. But I don't think any of that really prepared me for launching my own brand. And I feel like a lot of things I've learned over the last year has kind of been through trial and error. A lot of mistakes have been made, a lot of lessons have been learned, and I thought I'd just share with you guys a few quick tips in case you want to launch your own brand, and some things to look out for basically. So I think the first thing in terms of launching your own business is deciding whether you actually do want to run a business, because I know that a lot of people look at, you know, running a business as, you know, glamorous or fun and exciting, but I feel like sometimes we need to kind of look a bit deeper inwards and decide whether it's better to launch your own business or work for a brand that you admire. Instead, when you're working, you have a role in particular that you play, whether it's in HR, design, marketing, finance. But I think when you launch your own business, you kind of take on all of those. You're head of HR, you're head of marketing, you're head of design. You basically run the entire thing, and you need to keep an eye on all these different elements. And secondly, if you're looking at launching a fashion label, I think it's important to kind of determine where you would sit in terms of what type of brand you want. So launching a high street brand is very different from launching a contemporary brand, and it's very different to launching a luxury brand. So a high street brand would be something like H&M and Zara. So if you're looking to compete with those people, you would need to be, you know, price competitive. You need to be following trends very closely. You need like high volume. So it's a very different, you know, kettle of fish. If you're gonna be in the middle with them like Marge or Philip Lime and brands like that, it's a very different price point, production, all of those things. And if you're looking a lot more high-end to compete with the Gucci's and the Versace's or Roxanda or whatever brand, then it's a very different business model as well. So I feel like it's important to determine where your brand is going to sit, and that will kind of determine what your marketing is going to be like, what factory you pick to produce your products, what fabric you choose, and you know what your price point is and what your USP will be. So that's very important to keep in mind. Make sure you know where exactly or what type of brand you want to do. Third is to be yourself. I would say you should make and design clothes that you yourself would wear. If you like it, someone else would definitely like it. As much as we're individuals and we, you know, think we have very unique taste, we're also kind of trend driven. We're driven by what's going on in our environment. So if you make something that you love, you know, would wear, then definitely someone else would also love it and would also wear it. Four, I think you should stand out. Your brand should be different. You should have something that you're doing that will stand out from the other brands out there. If you go to a trade show, if you go to shops and like department stores, you kind of look around at where your brand would sit on the shop floor, your brand needs to say something different to all those brands. Just because you like a Versace doesn't mean you should recreate that. Being different doesn't necessarily mean that you should be completely off the wall either. You can still make really simple, beautiful pieces that just kind of have something a little different to offer. So for me, I know that there's certain things that are very important to me when I'm buying, and that those are the kind of things I wanted to incorporate in my brand. So for me, it's very important that a brand is ethically made. So by that I mean that the fabrics are sourced properly, the garments are made in factories or wherever that are that keep to certain standards and pay their workers fairly. So yeah, ethical fashion is very important to me, and so I incorporated that into my brand. Another thing that's very important to me was incorporating my culture. So I'm Nigerian, and we have a lot of amazing, beautiful textiles, from Ashoke to Akwete, Adire, and those textiles, a lot of them are still kind of made in smaller quantities or used for like special occasions and stuff like that. But I kind of wanted to use it in, you know, everyday pieces, because why not make every day a celebration? Yeah, so it was very important to me to use Nigerian textiles because I think they're beautiful, and yeah, I love them. So I incorporated that. So I incorporated that into my brand in a more simple, contemporary way. Another thing to consider is how you're going to produce your pieces. Are you going to take it to a factory? Are you going to do it yourself? Are you going to open up your own studio? Those things will depend on you and your quantity and your needs, basically. If you're an experienced tailor or garment maker and you're looking to do maybe one-off pieces or bespoke or made to order, then maybe you can kind of set up your own studio. Or if you're looking to kind of mass produce, you can look at places or countries where they can do high volumes for you. Another thing that you would need to think of is how you're going to sell your pieces. What is the point of making these incredibly beautiful garments and there is no way to sell it? You need to, before you even start production, kind of figure out how to sell your pieces. So there are different ways that you can sell your pieces. One of them is through the wholesale model, or through going to trade shows. So that's where you would get your sample, you apply for a trade show, and you would sell your pieces to buyers and stores, and they all just kind of buy there and then. That's a classic way of selling your products in the fashion industry, and it's been around for many, many years. Another way is the drop shipping method, which a lot of people kind of do, which is, I guess, where you'd make the items to order. So rather than having a huge stock or inventory, you would just maybe make a sample or something like that, and when people order, then you'd make each piece, but that would depend on the type of factory you work with, or if you're making it yourself, that type of thing. It's not always feasible for a full collection, so maybe if you had 1 or 2 pieces, you could definitely do that. Another way that you can sell your brand, which is what I'm a big fan of, is online. People think it's expensive to sell your products online, but it really isn't. You can actually set up your own website in a matter of minutes, maybe hours depending on your skill set, but it's very easy to set up your own website, put your product on, and kind of market it. I would 100% recommend selling online. Even if you are going to trade shows or you're selling through other channels, I would also recommend creating your own website, because that's kind of where you can, even if you don't sell on your website, you have information about your brand and things like that. But I definitely would recommend also selling through your website, because you kind of get a profile of your customer, you kind of learn a bit more about people that come on your website, and it's kind of a great way to just sell. I hope you guys found that useful. One thing I would say is, if you're creating a new brand, I would recommend that we all make conscious clothing. The fashion industry is incredibly wasteful, and I think we should all kind of work together to make our planet a better place. So I think we should all be striving to make ethical clothing, we should all be striving to make sustainable clothing, and we should all strive not to be wasteful. Yeah, so that is my last note, if you would. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and let me know, do you have any more questions? Are you interested in launching your own brand? Have you launched your own brand, and how have you found the experience? I'm going to be blogging a lot more about that. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.